Hey guys, welcome back. In the last video, I showed you the proof of the power rule. So now I'm just going to show you how to apply it. It's so simple. You guys are going to love this. But the video is going to go from easy to medium to hard problems. And so at any point, I want you guys to pause the video, try the problems yourself once you get a hang of it, okay? So just a friendly reminder that we show that if the function is x to the n, then the derivative would be take this n, push it to the front, in other words, multiply it, times, then we're going to have x, and we're going to decrease the exponent by 1, okay? You can also do it, obviously, if you have a constant like, or a coefficient of like 7, 8, 11, 12, 14 thirds, who cares? What happens there would be move that c. We're going to do f prime of x. We're going to push that c to the front, and then we're going to go n, x to the n minus 1, and then we'll multiply these numbers together if possible, okay? So the notation is going to be f prime of x. So every time I read, or your professor reads, or someone reads it, I know that you took the derivative because you showed me f prime of x, okay? Or f prime of whatever the variable is, but you got to make sure the variables are consistent. All right, here we go. So in all of these problems, we're just going to find the derivative. Right now, the function is x to the third. So I'm going to say the derivative of f of x is f prime of x. And the derivative of x to the third, well, I'm going to put the 3 in the front, and then I'm going to reduce my exponent by 1. And that's all. Okay, let's try another problem. The derivative of g of x is g prime of x, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 2 times 5 is 10, x to the first, because that's like saying move the 5 over, and we're going to do 2x to the first, and then that becomes a 10 when we multiply it, okay? What about this guy here, 7x to the first? Well, h prime of x is equal to 1 times 7, which is 7, x to the 0. Anybody remember what x to the 0 is? Very good. It's a 1, so it's just 7. And let's take a look at k of x. K of x is the function 9. So this is actually 9x to the 0. So 0 times 9 is 0. And we don't care about x to the negative 1 because 0 times that will give you a 0. So I want to just stay here for 2 seconds if that's okay with you guys. All right? This is very, very important. 9 looks like this. This function 9 looks like this. If this was a if this was like the Cartesian plane, the xy, and this was 9, that's what the function 9 would look like, right? So can you guys tell me what the slope is of this function? The slope of this function is 0. And what we're doing here with the derivatives, and I hope you guys remember it from the definition of a derivative, is every time we take the derivative, we're finding the slope of the tangent line. So the slope at every single point here is just 0. Well, I'm going to even show you guys something else. What does 7x look like? Isn't it true that 7x looks like as y-intercept of 0 and 7? Well, what is that slope? Isn't the slope of 7x just 7? And I already erased it, sorry. So check it out, guys. So the slope of 7x is 7. The slope of 9 is 0. Well, the slope of 5x squared is actually 10x. And if you want it at a specific point, you're going to have to plug in that x, okay? But right now, we're just doing the power rule. Here we go, guys. As long as it's separated by a plus or minus, we can apply the power rule. So that's going to be 3 times 3, 9. Reduce the exponent by 1. Let's try the next one. Plus 2 times 2 is 4. Reduce the exponent by 1. 1 times 4 is 4. Reduce the exponent by 1. That's 0. Anything to the 0 power, except for 0 to the 0, is 1. So I'm just going to erase that. And isn't it true that derivative or the slope at 4x is just 4? All right, that's all. That's my answer. That's it? Yup. So the key is just to know how to multiply. What about this, guys? Pause the video, try it. Okay, 2 times 2 is 4, x to the first. What's the derivative of 3? Well, 0, right? Because this is actually 3x to the 0. 0 times 3 is 0, right? So this is actually just 4x. Please don't put plus 0. That's silly. All right, here we go. 2 times a half. What's half of 2? 1. Okay, x to the first. Oops, I forgot to put my notation. All right, 3 times negative 4/3. Let me show you guys what to do. In the beginning of this video, I showed you guys you could just pull the 4/3 to the side. So what's the derivative of x to the third? 3x squared. Do you guys remember how to multiply fractions? It's top times top, bottom times bottom. 4 times 3 is 12 divided by 3 is 4, or you could just cross cancel. Okay, we'll clean it up later. What's the derivative of plus 7? 0. Let's clean this up. H prime of x, otherwise it's wrong. 1x to the first minus 4x squared. And that's pretty much it, okay? Let's try a few more. I hope I'm not going too fast. All right, woo! This one is gonna be a good one. Now, square root. Well, guys, if there's no number there, it's automatically a 2. If there's no number there, it's automatically a 1. I don't know how to take the power rule here because I don't even have a power. So I'm going to first rewrite it. Notice how I did not put a f prime of x because I'm not taking the derivative yet because I don't know how to. So that's x to the 1/2. You guys should know that the square root is always 1/2. Now, 2/3. This is your denominator. The person who's on the outside is your denominator. The person on the inside is your numerator. Well, I'm going to teach you a really cool trick on how to subtract 1 from an exponent. You guys are ready? I'm ready. Here's a prime because I'm about to take the derivative. So that's going to be, let's try this here. 1/2 goes in the front. X. Now I got to reduce 1/2 by 1. And people are probably saying, oh, that's easy. It's negative 1/2. Here's a cool way on how to do it. You guys are ready? I'm so happy. Okay. You're going to say 1 minus 2 is negative 1. And then you're going to keep the denominator. You're going to say, what? Yep. Watch this. Plus, how do we take the derivative of x to the 2/3? 2/3 x. 2 minus 3 is a negative 1 over 3. That's all. That's all you guys have to do. That's how you subtract 1 from any exponent that's a fraction. Okay, how do we clean this up? Well, I hope everybody remembers that anytime you have fractions, it should only be one line. Okay, so let's do this. We keep the 1 here, we put the 2 there. X to the negative half means put me in the denominator as a positive 1/2. Okay, and then 2/3, put me in the denominator as 1/3, and then if you want to write it that with the radical, remember that the denominator is the outside person, and then you're done. All right, I have this here, so I might as well just finish it. This is our last problem. I can't do anything with this until I rewrite it. So that's going to be 2. Denominators are the guys on the outside. That's the 5, 4. Well, how do I take the derivative? Ready? 2, just pull that to the side. 4/5 x. What's 4 minus 5? Negative 1/5. Because you remember, you have to reduce your exponent by 1. How do we fix this? Well, top times top, 2 times 4 is 8. 5. X to the negative 1/5, or you guys can write 8/5, and then in the denominator next to the 5, you're going to write 5 radical x to the first, where the 5 is on the outside. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys love this. I'm going to do some more in our next video. You should do every single type of example.